What is up, guys? This is day number 2 of creating a VOD for every single FNCS game. So this is game number 2. We got a 0 elimination 8. Let's get into it. So as an uncon, we'll see exactly what we do. We'll just have to be aware that the kids on the hill could be looking at us. So I know that that's what they're probably going to do, but I just end up kind of farming. That way they can't see me. And they eventually rotate out. So this is basically us just farming our mats. We want to get max metal before we leave here, and then we get max heals and everything. We set up. At this point, I'm pretty much already stacked. If I went to endgame like this, I would be very happy. I'm at 3, 1, 3.5. So most of the time I come out here pretty much like 3, 3, 5, because the metal here is absolutely ridiculous. Highly recommend it. And there's plenty of heals. So as you can see, I'm 3.5, 2.5, 5. Hit the launch pad, go over to my teammate. He's in this other little canyon that has a bunch of loot in it. But since we see that zone does pull all the way up to Grand Glacier and Classic Courts, we're going to try to rotate around through Redline Rig, possibly, or around this dead side. If you haven't already, make sure you go watch my day number 1 video where I show you guys exactly what the dead side means. And yeah, for this we're going to Brutal Bleachhead because we see that's not been taken. As soon as we get there though, this is what happens. A team shows up. They've been camping. I get absolutely beamed and jumped in on. So I leave my teammate back. He has to clutch, get my reboot card and reboot me in zone. This is really unfortunate because I really don't know what that team was doing. They played in zone, basically camped it all the way until it was at least 100 meters in zone. So that was a weird play by them, but it worked. They got 1 kill out of it. And at this point, my duo is just trying to get all the heals. That way he can play zone for as long as he can. That way he can get my reboot and everything. And then reboot me and I can go back get my stuff. And then we'll go back into zone. He reboots me. He's going to immediately try to rotate out because he needs to. And then I will go get my old stuff. Make sure that I'm stacked before I leave. And there's very good rotates from here, since I can use this nitro ring right here. And then use also nitro. And there's another launch pad here, which is very key because you can just use launch pads pretty much across the entire map. Again, nitro ring. He's just running in. I don't really recommend it since we are so separate. If there's another team in zone, we're pretty much dead. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. We're going to pause it right here, and we're going to look at exactly how far away we are from each other. So this is him, and this is me. I'm back in zone. Obviously, I was not stacked because I had just gotten rebooted. So I was like, hold up, I'm not with you. You need to chill. Give me a second. He gets ahead, and then starts getting shot at, runs back into zone, which was okay, and then again he tries to rotate. He eventually gets fought, and I basically say, I can't fight. I have no loot to be able to fight, so I'm just going to dip for now. I run back, loop in zone again. Playing zone this season is actually very strategy because there's so much rotates around the map, like the rings, and you can quickly get into zone even though you're like 300 plus meters out. I run back. I'm able to get his reboot. I hear though that another team had just rebooted there, so I have to play zone for even longer before going back to get him. I go back. I'm able to get his reboot. Unfortunately, I have to reboot back in zone. That way he can get his own loot. And zone pulls extremely far, so that puts us in a very big disadvantage where we have to rotate all the way back here. All good though, because I take him all the way around. I know that there's a ring over here, and we can basically get all the way around the entire map without being seen by a single person. Super stacked. I get storm sickness right about here, and I actually end up having to chill, pop some heals. Zone pulls across the map, so I am left like, okay, we gotta either white line it or rotate all the way around. There's a few teams on the backside, on dead side, which is back here. So I basically say, all right, we got a white line it. We end up also getting W keyed for some random reason while back here. I don't really remember why, or don't know why they did that, but they did. And at this point, we're basically say we're just gonna book it to zone. Hopefully we don't get shot. Luckily we don't get shot. In a more stacked lobby, this definitely would have worked. You have to be much more smart in stacked lobbies, but yeah. I get W keyed, and I just couldn't get them off of me. I went into this 5-5-5, and I come out of this having wasted exactly 1,000 builds to get away from that team. So my duo has a clutch, and he's playing the dead side very, very well. And since it does pull up the exact tallest mountain in the game, he basically has to get as elevated as possible. That way he doesn't get stuck below and have to build up the mountain. Just plays his zone and places boxes, places built out, follows this team as they rotate because they've already built for him. Unfortunately, he does get shot, and I was really worried that this team would actually like really pressure him. Fortunately though, they didn't. It was a solo. It would have been a 2v1 for him. But yeah, super stacked. Zone again pulls really close. He's just playing his boxes, rotates in, and gets pretty much into a stacked position where he can just sit here for as long as he wants. Again, only 21 builds, so he's not very stacked at all. And then unfortunately gets lobby focus. So that's basically as much as he could have done. Luckily though, teams die as he's doing this, and he gets in 8th place. It is pretty unfortunate though, because he gets dropped down and then basically is stuck down here with nothing to his name, and a team W keys him for no really reason at all. So yeah, but now we're gonna look at what exactly we could have done better to get a better placement in that game. So for me, I will go back all the way to here about where I died and show you guys exactly what happened on my end in a more open sort of way. I'm rotating into zone. Like I'd said, we had storm sickness, so we couldn't play zone any longer. So basically I have to get into zone as quickly as possible, and zone pulled across map. Number one thing I should have done here is gotten closer to zone earlier, because we were on backside, so basically everybody back here is just going to be griefing you, trying to get their own refresh because they're not very stacked at all. So that's what I need to do better. I need to get us further in zone as soon as it popped, but unfortunately I was just really late to that. All good though, because we can get into zone since Nitro and Medalla and Flowberry are really nice. I get a bunch of mats from this. I'm 5-5-5, really stacked. And then there's this team back here that's been sitting in a massive base pretty much the entire game. A massive wood base. I don't understand exactly why they did this at all, but they see me as a solo, and that's where we went wrong. My duo, he rotated right down the middle. I rotated right here, and yeah, I will put that on his fault, but I could also see it being on my fault for not being as clear as I could have. I think I told him, hey, I've got a rotating, follow me, and we disappear as an IGL. That's kind of what I assume from my fragger, but obviously he also, I don't make the only calls, so I can see that. I should have built my back off a bit earlier, but I had no idea that there'd be people behind me when I'm on the very back side of zone. So I was assuming that I could just get a free rotate, keep getting shot. Hopefully I was like, these kids will maybe get off of me. They can just nitro in. I keep trying to build them off the best I can. Again, they're just going to chase me to the end of who knows where. My duo, he is safe. I basically tell him, I'm dead. There's no way I survive this. You can't save me. If anything, that'll get us killed, so whatever. But yeah, I basically am chased for the rest of the game and then die here because I just get shot. They're really annoyed about what that team did because how is it not at all worth it. They just chased me across the entire map, and honestly pretty stupid. They didn't get shot though, so I guess maybe whatever. Again, here, my duo partner does well to get here backside, but the issue where he goes wrong and the reason why he dies is getting boxed on the side of this hill. Once he gets up here, he basically gets very griefed from the fact that this team is staring down at him, and he kind of knows that they're there, and he waits for them to shoot at him before he builds. You gotta be proactive in these situations. You gotta be the one that first blocks him off. If you see somebody open, you have to immediately build them or block your back. Both of them are good, because the rule number 1 is never die when you have mats. If you have materials, you can't die. So when you saw this team open up a bit earlier, I'll rewind it real quick. You can play it. This team sprays at him. Okay, there's a person in there. Whatever, we're just gonna go to zone. They go to zone. You can see that's him rotating. They open up right here, and he still is trying to get into zone. Gets hit 26 and then starts to build. So I think he could have been a bit quicker with that. Again, all good. Doesn't really matter. He's still clutching 8th place, which is plenty. That's all we needed. We'll watch it again in a slower motion. I'm going to stare at this team. It's open now. He's down here. Let's see, we're going to count it in seconds. They open at 22:02. He has a full second where they are opened and before they shoot at him. So, but whatever. I can't complain on that. That's not the only thing that we did wrong. I died early on, which is unfortunate. So yeah. But I'm going to wrap that video up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for day number 3.